I still remember the day I first saw it, the Labubu doll. It was 2 weeks before my birthday, and my parents took me to this little toy store downtown. It wasn't one of those big fancy stores. It was old, tucked between a laundromat and a bookstore, the kind of place that looked like it had been there forever. The windows were dusty, the sign above the door was faded, and when the bell above the entrance rang as we walked in, it sounded tired, like it had been ringing for decades. The shop smelled of wood and something faintly sweet, like old candy that had melted and hardened again. Rows and rows of dolls lined the shelves, not the kind you see in toy commercials, but older ones. Porcelain dolls with cracked cheeks, rag dolls with buttons for eyes, and tucked away, sitting alone on a high shelf was it, the Labubu doll. I'd seen pictures of Labubu online before, cute, weird, kind of mischievous, but this one, it was different. Its fur was a dull grayish-brown, not the usual bright colors. Its teeth, sharp little white ones, seemed too real, and its wide black eyes, they weren't painted like the others I'd seen. They glistened like glass, and when I moved, it felt like they followed me. I pointed at it right away. "That one, Kaya," I told my mom. "That's the one I want." The shopkeeper, an old woman with thin gray hair tied in a bun, looked up sharply when she heard me, her lips pressed together, and for a moment, I swear she shook her head ever so slightly. "You don't want that one," she said quietly, but my dad just laughed and asked how much it was. The woman hesitated before wrapping it up in brown paper and handing it to us. Her hands shook. I noticed everything. That night, I placed Labubu on my nightstand. I couldn't stop staring at it. Its grin stretched so wide, with those pointed little teeth, that I told myself it was cute, different, unique. On my birthday, I showed it off to my friends. Some of them laughed, saying it was creepy. Others said it looked evil, but I didn't care. I loved it. It felt like it was mine in a way no toy had ever been before. The first night I slept with it beside me, I woke up around 3 in the morning. You know when you just know someone's watching you? I opened my eyes and turned toward the nightstand. Labubu was there, facing me, but I could have sworn its head was tilted slightly, just a little, not the way I had left it. I told myself I was imagining it. Dolls don't move, they can't. But the next night I woke again. This time, the doll wasn't on my nightstand. It was on the floor, sitting, facing my bed. I didn't scream. I didn't even call for my parents. I just picked it up with trembling hands and set it back. But I didn't sleep after that. Days went by. Small things started happening. I'd leave Labubu on my desk before school, and when I came back, it would be on my bed. I'd place it on the shelf, and later I'd find it on the floor. I asked my parents if they were moving it to mess with me. They swore they weren't. My mom even laughed and said maybe I had a sleepwalking problem. But I didn't sleepwalk. I knew I didn't. One night I woke up to the sound of scratching, faint but steady, like nails dragging across wood. I sat up, my heart pounding, and turned on my lamp. Labubu was there, sitting on the desk, one clawed hand resting against the surface. Scratches, fresh scratches, right beneath its fingers. I told myself I was dreaming. I had to be. But when morning came, the marks were still there. From then on, things got worse. I started hearing whispers, faint, high-pitched giggles in the middle of the night. Sometimes I thought they came from the closet, sometimes from under the bed, and sometimes from right beside me. I'd wake up and find Labubu closer than before. Once it was sitting on my pillow, its glassy black eyes inches from my face. Its grin seemed wider. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. My parents thought I was sick, maybe stressed from school. They didn't believe me when I told them about the doll. They told me I was too old to be scared of toys. But then they started noticing things too. One evening, my mom went into my room to put away laundry. She swears she heard something scurry across the floor. Not a mouse, not the dog. Something small, fast, and when she turned, the doll was sitting in the middle of the room, facing her. She yelled for me, asked why I left it like that, but I hadn't. My dad started locking it in the closet at night, just to make me feel better. But every morning, it would be out. Sometimes on the desk, sometimes on the bed. Once, we found it downstairs in the kitchen, sitting at the table like it had been waiting for us. We tried throwing it away. My dad put it in the trash outside. The next morning, it was back in my room. We tried giving it back to the toy shop, but when we went, the shop wasn't there anymore. Just an empty building with boarded windows and a faded for rent sign. Like it had never existed. That's when the nightmare started. I dream of being trapped in a dark room with hundreds of dolls, their glass eyes staring, their porcelain mouths opening wide, whispering in unison. In the center of the room was Labubu, grinning, teeth sharp, eyes glinting, and every time it would whisper my name, over and over, until I woke up screaming. One night, I woke to the sound of my name being whispered in real life. Not in a dream, right by my ear. I turned so fast I felt my neck crack, but no one was there, just the doll, sitting on my chest, heavy, cold, its grin inches from my face. I screamed so loud my parents came running. When they saw it, my mom gasped. My dad grabbed it and threw it across the room. We decided enough was enough. We had to get rid of it. My dad drove it to the edge of town, near the woods. He swears he tossed it into a dumpster and watched it sink beneath piles of trash. He came home relieved, saying it was finally over. That night, I slept better than I had in weeks, but in the morning, it was back, sitting on my desk, grinning. That's when my parents started to believe me. My dad wouldn't admit it out loud, but I saw it in his eyes. Fear, pure fear. We called a priest. He came, prayed over the house, sprinkled holy water. He told us to burn the doll. That was the only way. So we did. We built a fire in the backyard. My dad threw Labubu into the flames. The fur blackened, the teeth cracked, the glass eyes burst with a pop. We watched it burn until there was nothing left but ashes. For the first time in months, I felt free, safe. But that night, as I lay in bed, drifting to sleep, I heard it, a faint giggle, high-pitched, mischievous. I sat up, my heart racing, and looked toward the corner of my room. There, in the shadows, something small moved, something with sharp teeth. And then, right beside me, on the nightstand, I saw it, not the old Labubu, but a new one. Its fur cleaner, its grin sharper, its eyes brighter, and it whispered, clear as day, "Miss me?"